camp for the day. Probably going to make another camp or two. Trying to find some local food here. Fortunately, I found some fresh growing corn tortillas. They are native here. They grow on some of these trees. They're edible. They smell like corn, taste like corn, and probably are corn. When you have to be resourceful out here in the wild. I found this container, plastic container. It has some kind of taco mix, which will go well with the native corn tortillas. I mean, this could have been made in a store somewhere, or even at my house, but you just find it out here in the wild. And a little messy to eat. It's really quiet and peaceful. Like most food found out in the wilderness. And this is very messy, finger food. It's nearly as good as some little canapes and hors d'oeuvres, though, or even Spanish tapas. Would go nice right now in a big glass of cold beer. But I don't have that here. I have only this one little pint of water to sustain me today until I walk back to the car, which is about 300 yards that way. So this has got to last me the next 300 yards unless I can find more water. And of course I have to walk across the stream bed, which is about 60 feet behind me right here. So it shouldn't be a stretch. I should be able to make it without risking life or limb. And that's my report today from out in the middle of the wilderness, miles and miles away from any civilization. Can't even get a cell phone signature out here, signal. Of course, I don't have my cell phone. It's back 300 yards from here at the car, and it's now dead. You get out here in the wilderness, your cell phone batteries just die. It's amazing, but they just tend to die. They're not natural out here, and they can't survive. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Oh, and another thing, Wilderness Lesson 102, always bring your own food. If you don't want to be eating bugs, snails, things that wild javelina won't eat, then, bring your own food. And it's really delicious.